Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to see you again. It is freezing cold outside, so I think today would be a very good day to stay in the kitchen. We're going to make a dinner that I think would be rather nice for a date night. Here's the menu. I'm serving a light and refreshing fennel and orange salad for the first course, my highly aromatic thyme and red wine beef stew on a bed of mashed potatoes for the main course, and crisp and delicious homemade ginger snaps with coffeed ice cream for the grand finale. The first thing we are going to make is the thyme and wine beef stew. It's the main course and it takes the longest to cook. And one of the ingredients is 5 fat carrots. These are carrots that you and I grew together from seed. All I have to do is clean them up, peel them, and slice them. This thyme and wine beef stew has never failed me. The stew reheats beautifully, so you can prepare it days ahead of time. So this is really a dinner for two. And if you don't have an actual date, as in the romantic sense, you could serve this dinner to just yourself and a friend. This carrot is a little fat, so I'm going to cut it lengthwise in half. And then I want to slice on the bias. My recipe also calls for a large diced onion, but I forgot to buy an onion this morning, so we are going to use some of the leeks that you and I froze together several weeks ago. And here is my stewing beef, fresh from the supermarket. This is about 1 pound of beef, because it's only 2 people eating at our date night dinner. And I want to pat the beef dry, because wet beef will not brown properly. I will brown the beef in this 5-quart Dutch oven. A glug of oil. This is avocado oil. I need to brown this beef on all sides until it turns a deep walnut brown. That's going to take about 8 minutes. And I'm going to do the beef in 2 batches. All right, the beef is nicely browned. So now we can brown the carrots and the leeks in the same pot. Just want to add a little color to the veggies so they develop more flavor. As the leeks and carrots release moisture, they will essentially deglaze the pot for me. I also need to add some chopped parsley. These are parsley leaves that I just fetched from the garden. You could use dried parsley here. And I will link this recipe in the description box below. I also want to add 1 or 2 of the garlic pucks that you and I made together from homegrown garlic a few weeks ago. These were in the freezer. I need to open a bottle of wine. This is a claret. It's a full-bodied Cabernet wine. It's great for drinking, and it's great for stew making. So we can return this beef to the pot. And here's the parsley. 2 garlic pucks, or you can use fresh garlic. A half teaspoon or so of kosher salt, or you can use the salt of your choice. Grinds of black pepper. A teaspoon or thereabouts of dried thyme. And enough of the red wine to cover the ingredients. Which is an entire bottle of red wine. I'm going to bring this stew to a boil over high heat, and then I will cover the pot, lower the heat, and let this stew simmer until the beef turns meltingly tender. That will take about 2 hours. Let me clean up the decks here, and then we can get started on the dessert. On to the homemade ginger snaps. Now, my oven is preheated to 315 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius. I need 1 2/3 cups or 240 grams of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. I always weigh out my flour. Then I need a half teaspoon of baking soda, a half teaspoon of salt, 2 1/4 teaspoons of ground ginger, a half teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. Yes, pepper. And simply whisk these dry ingredients together. It took me a long time to decide which dessert to serve for this dinner. Since the main course is rather heavy, I figured I needed a fairly light dessert. So ginger snaps and vanilla ice cream it is. On to the wet ingredients. I need a half cup or 113 grams of butter, salted or unsalted, your choice. I need to melt this in the microwave. I'm mixing the wet ingredients in a large bowl. In goes the butter, which still isn't completely melted. I'll be right back. Then we need a half cup or 100 grams of regular granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup or 50 grams of dark brown sugar. I'm out of dark brown, so I'm using light brown. No problem. A half teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. This is the extract that you and I made together. 2 tablespoons of unsulfured molasses. This is blackstrap molasses, but you can use any regular unsulfured molasses that you can find at the supermarket. The yolk from 1 large egg, and 2 tablespoons of whole milk. And then we need to beat all of these ingredients together. I'm doing this simply with a spurtle. You really don't need any electronic equipment here. Now we can add the dry ingredients to the wet, and then I will stir until a stiff dough develops. Now this is a stiff dough. I'm going to clean up the decks and then we can form the cookies. These cookies are rolled in sugar, so I'm going to put some sugar, maybe a quarter cup or so, in one of my reusable silicone bags. And then we form the cookies into 1-inch balls. I'm using a 1-inch cookie scoop here. And this can go right into the sugar bag. And we can do, 4 or 5 cookies at a time. Shaky, shaky. And then we can transfer the balls to a parchment-lined baking sheet. I'm spacing these cookies about 2 inches apart. Now you don't have to make all of the cookies at one go. This dough freezes perfectly, so you could either freeze the dough as it is right now, or you could form the dough into cookies and just freeze them unbaked. And then you can bake them at your leisure. I will link the recipe for these ginger snaps in the description box below. And we are going to freeze this batch of cookies, and we are going to bake this batch. 18 minutes for ginger snaps that are crisp at the edge, 20 minutes for ginger snaps that are crisp throughout. I think I'm going to go with the crisp throughout. Going to pop this into the freezer. Going to clean up, but first I wanted to tell you my kitchen smells just wonderful from the thyme and wine beef stew that is simmering behind me. It's going to smell even better once these cookies are done. Here are our ginger snaps. Oh, they smell just heavenly. I need to transfer these cookies or biscuits to a cooling rack to let them cool completely. It is a good thing that we did not bake all of the cookies because I cannot be trusted alone with homemade ginger snaps. I forgot to make the mashed potatoes that we will serve with the beef stew, so we can do that next. 1 3/4 cup of water, or 414 mils. 1 cup of milk, that's 240 mils. 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of butter, which is about this much, and 2 cups or 110 grams of potato flakes. These are just dehydrated potatoes. There's nothing fake about them. You could add garlic to this to make garlic mashed potatoes. At dinner parties, I often hear, "Kevin, how did you make your mashed potatoes so creamy?" And now you know the secret. I'm going to cover this and then pop it into the refrigerator until we need it. For the first course, I wanted to make a fennel and orange salad. I've had this in restaurants, but I have never made it myself. So this will be a real learning experience. And the first thing I want to make is the dressing. We need the juice from half a lemon, or if the lemon is small, like this one, you can use all of the juice from one whole lemon. A generous splash of either champagne vinegar or white wine vinegar. There are no exact proportions to any of these ingredients. And we need some Dijon mustard. I'm going to guess this is about a teaspoon. A small splash of pure maple syrup, if I can get the lid off. Nice pinch of salt. Olive oil. Probably 3 tablespoons or so. And we can whisk all of this together. This smells very light and refreshing. Then we need fennel. And I'm going to cut off these fronds here. I'm going to use some of the green ferny leaves for garnish, but the stalks here can be saved for vegetable stock. I want to make a shallow cut at the root end. I'm going to use my mandolin to very thinly slice the fennel. Now, at this point, to protect my fingers, I'm going to use this finger guard. This part of the fennel is the core, and it's very tough. I'm going to save this for stock. Now, I have to determine if this is enough for 2 people. I bought an extra fennel just in case one was not enough for 2 people. I changed my mind. I want to do both of the fennel bulbs. I'm going to try cutting this in half. You see there's this little piece of core right here. You could cut that out. There are many different ways to slice up fennel. Fennel has a mild anise or licorice taste and perfume, but it does not taste anything like candy licorice. You know, the kind we used to buy, well, I used to buy when I was a kid at movie theaters. Now we can transfer the fennel to a bowl. Now, I watched several YouTube videos of people making a fennel and orange salad, and the recipes were all pretty much similar to each other. So I'm just using the best of what I thought I found in those videos. Next, we have to turn 1 or 2 navel oranges into peeled segments. We're going to use a knife to do this. And I have never peeled an orange with a knife ever in my life. This is how I watched people do this on YouTube. So they took the knife, actually they went this way, straight down, moving along the contours of the orange. Now, the people I watched removed all of the white pith from the orange. So I am trying to do the same thing. I think we're pretty good here. I'm going to go ahead and do the second orange. Proof that practice makes progress. My second orange turned out better than my first orange. Now, to turn this into segments, I watched people cut where you can see the natural form of each segment. There's one. And of course, you have to be careful while you're working because you do not want a knife to go slicing through your hand. I just had a thought. You could probably use mandarin oranges from a can or from one of those little plastic tubs. Be a lot easier. But I think this worked out well enough. And I developed sort of a new kitchen technique. I'm going to clean this up and then we can finish the salad. I need to season this salad with a little salt and pepper. How many times have you put black pepper on orange segments? Another first for me. Give this a toss. To use this greenery from the fennel. And we can add the greenery to our salad. Then I want some chives. Now, you and I cut down all of the chives in my garden the other day, so I had to buy these chives from my local farm store. And we can add the chives to our salad. I'm going to reserve some of the chives for garnish. Then we can add the dressing. Give everything a toss. I have to give this a little taste. Two thumbs up and 5 stars. What a fabulous salad. I'm going to pop this into the refrigerator until we are ready to serve it, and then we can garnish it with these chives. You have got to try this salad. I will list the ingredients I used for the dressing in the description box below. And then you can just measure with your heart. So our first course, our main course, our side of mashed potatoes are all prepared. Let's light a fire and enjoy this dinner. So I think a Côte de Rhône will be just right for this meal. I watched a professional chef plate this kind of salad, and what he did was make a C with his hand. He cupped his hand, I assume his impeccably clean hand, and he went like this, which I think keeps the salad from landing all over the rim of the plate. So here's one. I want to put another orange segment up here. Make it look pretty. Some of the chopped chives that we reserved. I always dress for dinner, especially when you are my dinner date. Let's go set the table. I know that I have already tasted this first course fennel and orange salad for you, but I wanted to try it again. I cannot imagine a better salad than this one. I will make this again and again. And I hope that you will try it too. I'm going to finish my salad, and then we can bring out the second course. I cooked the mashed potato mixture in the microwave for exactly 8 minutes. Then I gave it a stir. Make a well in the middle, or basin. Normally, I thicken the sauce with cornstarch, but I don't think we need that today. And here is our main course, thyme and wine beef stew. I can already tell this meat is super tender. When the beef cooks slowly in the red wine, the beef turns almost sweet. This is a perfectly lovely main course. And of course, the side dish of easy mashed potatoes is the perfect side dish. My friends, this thyme and wine beef stew is better than anything you could order in a restaurant. I really hope you will give it a try. And here's our dessert. I'm scooping a good quality vanilla ice cream into dessert goblets. For extra flavor, I'm dusting the ice cream with espresso powder. Then I'm adding a ginger snap to each goblet. I may have overdone the espresso powder just a wee bit, but the ice cream looks pretty. Let's have a taste. Oh, it's very, very good. In fact, I love it. And let's have our ginger snap biscuit. I'm going to put a little dollop of ice cream on the biscuit. I love ginger snaps. These cookies would be wonderful for dunking into tea. Thank you for spending time with me today as we prepared this simple but very delicious date night, or really anytime dinner. Again, I will post recipes for the thyme and wine beef stew and the glorious ginger snap cookies in the description box below. And if you'd like to see more easy, elegant recipes from me, please post a comment below. I love hearing from you. And I wanted to mention that I must be the luckiest guy in the world because I get to hang out with you. I'm going to finish my ice cream and probably enjoy another ginger snap. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, friends.